Usually, when we think about a guy getting just filthy rich working out of a garage, there's like a very specific, almost cliche image that pops into our heads.
Right, yeah. We picture that quintessential Silicon Valley origin story, like circuit boards scattered all over a workbench,
Exactly.
some brilliant college dropout inventing a revolutionary computer in Palo Alto, and then, eventually taking it public.
Yeah. Or on the flip side, we picture like a master mechanic, someone who builds these incredible, expensive, just one-of-a-kind custom cars, charging millions of dollars for unparalleled craftsmanship.
All right.
But the surprising reality we are exploring today, it just completely shatters both of those tropes.
It really does.
Because Richard Rawlings, he didn't build this massive, multi-million-dollar global empire just by restoring cars in some miserable 1,200 square foot shop in Dallas, especially one with no heat, no AC, and literally no running water.
No, not at all.
He actually got rich by selling the idea of that gritty garage to people who, frankly, would probably never, ever buy a custom car from him.
It completely flips the traditional script on how we normally think about business growth and, monetization in general.
Totally.
You're taking the core craft and essentially making it a loss leader for a much wider cultural movement.
And that is exactly why we are here today. So, welcome to today's Deep Dive, learner. We are absolutely thrilled to have you with us as we dissect Episode 5 of the Monkey Garage Playbook.
Yeah, specifically a section called The Empire Beyond the Garage.
Right. We're looking at this fascinating stack of documents that outline exactly how to take a gritty, single-focus passion project and just detonate it into a multi-tiered digital and physical empire.
And today isn't just a history lesson about hot rods. We're taking Rawlings' physical business blueprint from Gas Monkey Garage, and we're mapping it directly onto a modern digital creator ecosystem.
Which is the coolest part of this whole thing.
It is. Specifically, we're looking at the playbook for the digital empire of MickeySdt. We're going to break down the mechanics of how you build a brand universe that is so compelling that, a corporate cybersecurity executive in a corner office and an underground raver at 3 a.m. end up wearing the exact same T-shirt?
It sounds impossible.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah.
Because the evolution of Gas Monkey Garage is legendary in the automotive world, but the actual mechanics of how it became an empire are honestly wildly misunderstood by most people watching from the outside.
Oh, absolutely.
If we rewind to the years right around 2002 to 2004, the reality of that business was incredibly bleak.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was just a tiny, freezing cold, 1,200 square foot concrete box.
Yeah.
Rawlings was this kid from Fort Worth who basically had a hustle for flipping cars before he even had a driver's license.
Nice.
And he teamed up with Aaron Kaufman, who was this brilliant but incredibly quiet master mechanic.
Yeah.
And for an entire decade, they were just grinding in obscurity.
Literally just sweating it out.
Yeah. They were building custom hot rods, restoring these rusted-out barn finds, and just doing pure, uncompromising mechanical craft.
You were talking about pure sweat, grease, and burning metal. I mean, they built a localized reputation for taking rusted chassis and turning a profit. But the real turning point for Rawlings wasn't when they figured out how to build cars 10% faster.
Right.
Or, when they found a cheaper supplier for carburetors. The turning point was this fundamental shift in business philosophy.
Which was what, exactly?
Well, Rawlings realized that building one-off hot rods simply does not scale. A master mechanic can only bend so much steel in a single day. You hit a hard ceiling on your revenue the literal moment you run out of daylight.
Which means the real money was never going to come from the cars themselves.
Exactly.
The explosion happened when that hot rod aesthetic was weaponized, basically, and turned into a lifestyle brand.
Yeah, they took that fast, loud American muscle vibe, they slapped that distressed, aggressive monkey logo on it, and they used that attitude to sell things that actually do scale.
Right, and we see this materialize in the Empire extensions. I mean, the Gas Monkey Bar and Grill opened in 2013. Then came the Gas Monkey live music venue.
And the energy drinks.
The energy drinks, the garage beer, the endless walls of merchandise, the international licensing deals.
It was everywhere.
And the television show, Fast and Loud, which aired in over 200 countries, that was not the core product.
No, not at all.
It was essentially just a massive, globally syndicated, top-of-funnel marketing engine for the lifestyle brand.
It's brilliant.
It's like, think about a famous stadium touring rock band. At a certain point, they realized they were actually making substantially more money selling $40 concert T-shirts at the merch booth than they ever did selling their albums.
Yes.
The music, The incredible artistic craft
Hmm.
ultimately just becomes a commercial for the T-shirt. It's the gateway drug to the brand.
That's a perfect analogy. The music gets them into the building, and the merchandise lets them take a piece of that identity home. Rawlings built his empire by realizing his true product wasn't a restored 1968 Mustang.
Right.
The product was the rebellious, unapologetic attitude of his garage. And a crucial detail from the playbook is that he built this brand entirely without asking for permission.
Which is wild.
He sold his own printing company to fund the initial shop. He drove back and forth to Los Angeles for 8 straight years, just getting rejected over and over by television networks who didn't understand the vision.
8 years of rejection.
Yeah. By the time the Discovery Channel finally said yes to Fast and Loud in 2012, Rawlings already had the shop, he had the iconic logo, the swagger, and the fully formed identity.
He already built the world.
Exactly. And once the audience bought into the character of Richard Rawlings, the fast-talking Texan with wads of cash in his pocket who literally jangles when he walks, they would buy absolutely anything that fit within that character's universe.
So the core philosophy here is something, learner, you really need to write down. You don't monetize the raw views, and you don't even necessarily monetize your primary craft. You monetize what your audience believes about you. You monetize the identity they borrow from you when they interact with your brand.
Which is the perfect bridge to mapping this physical blueprint onto the digital age. Because we have this tangible physical model of Gas Monkey Garage. But how does a single creator just sitting behind a laptop today recreate that Dallas garage in a digital space?
Right. And let's look directly at MickeySdt's digital empire to answer that.
Okay,
Because the playbook outlines a strategy they call one garage, 3 doors.
Yeah, the 3 tiers.
It is a 3-tiered digital architecture that mirrors the Gas Monkey evolution perfectly, but it operates entirely without physical inventory or real estate.
The genius is really in how distinctly these 3 levels operate while sharing the exact same DNA. So let's start with level 1. In this digital ecosystem, level 1 is the equivalent of that gritty, freezing 1,200 square foot garage.
The starting point.
Yeah. The playbook refers to this tier as the factory, or the soul, and the brand name here is SchmidtStahl.
And what I find so compelling about SchmidtStahl is that it is pure, unadulterated, and honestly almost hostile in its commitment to its craft.
It is intense.
It is 150 BPM underground industrial techno music. It's raw. It sounds like clashing steel. It uses heavy black and gray visual motifs. It evokes the feeling of being in an underground Berlin bunker or like a warehouse in Madrid at 3 a.m.
Yeah, very dark.
And crucially, there is no human face attached to it. It's
Right.
not marketed as, hey guys, I'm an aspiring DJ.
Right, right.
It is marketed as a physical place, a dark industrial world. This is the product that proves the creator is actually doing the work, not just acting like some internet guru talking into a ring light. It is the uncompromising art.
It establishes undeniable authenticity. I mean, you cannot fake a complex 150 BPM industrial techno track. You either have the technical systems knowledge to produce it or you just don't.
Right.
And once that foundation of authentic, gritty craft is poured, the playbook moves us to level 2. This is called the fortress or the moneymaker.
The moneymaker.
Yeah. If SchmidtStahl is the freezing garage, level 2 is the sprawling bar-end grill that pays the bills. The brand name here is Cyber Night Mike.
Now, Cyber Night Mike is a LinkedIn influencer brand, and it is laser-focused on enterprise, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence.
Completely different vibe on paper.
Exactly. This tier targets a fundamentally different, astronomically higher-paying audience. We are talking about CISOs, Chief Information Security Officers.
The big guns.
The executives whose heads are literally on the chopping block if a Fortune 500 company gets hacked. Cyber Night Mike sells premium consulting, high-level trust, and lucrative B2B brand deals.
And here is where the architecture becomes incredibly sophisticated. Because Cyber Night Mike shares the exact same visual world as the SchmidtStahl techno brand.
Yeah.
We are talking about a very specific aesthetic bleed. Dark server rooms, brutalist steel gray textures, piercing hazard yellow accents, and overarching themes of armor, perimeter defense, and mechanical pressure.
Okay, I need to pause this here and push back on this structure for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because on paper, this sounds like a recipe for a schizophrenic brand. You are essentially taking 150 BPM underground, aggressive techno music and trying to sell it to corporate suite-wearing cybersecurity executives on LinkedIn.
I know, it sounds crazy.
Those seem like completely contradictory audiences. A CISO looking for a multi-million-dollar AI threat detection software isn't exactly browsing the dark techno vinyl bins at a local record store on a Tuesday afternoon. How does this not just confuse the market?
So that hesitation right there is the exact reason most creators stay trapped in one tiny niche forever. They assume audiences are defined entirely by their job titles rather than their emotional state.
Okay, unpack that.
These brands aren't contradictory at all because they share the exact same aesthetic and emotional resonance. Let me paint a picture to explain this.
Paint away.
Imagine you are that CISO. It is 3 a.m., your phone goes off. Red alerts are flashing across your Security Operations Center dashboard.
Oh man, the worst nightmare.
A highly sophisticated hacking syndicate is actively trying to breach your network. Thousands of malicious data packets are hitting your firewall every single minute. The environment is intense, it is rhythmic, it is relentless, and it requires a highly mechanical defensive mindset to survive.
The pressure is absolute. It's an overwhelming rhythmic assault on a system.
Yes. Now, put on a pair of noise-canceling headphones and listen to a track of 150 BPM underground industrial Berlin techno. The physiological experience is identical.
Oh, wow.
The dark, driving pulse of a kick drum mirrors the relentless mechanical defense of a cyber attack. It is the exact same visual, emotional, and psychological world. SchmidtStahl isn't just arbitrary background music, it is the literal soundtrack to Cyber Night Mike's world of armor, threat detection, and defense.
That completely changes the framing. I mean, Rawlings sold mainstream Dodge truck commercials because his dusty garage stood for an unapologetic, rebellious power that truck buyers wanted to feel. MickeySdt can sell high-ticket AI security consulting because the techno music sounds exactly like a security operations center under siege. The aesthetic bridges the gap between the art and the corporate paycheck.
But having a high-paying corporate brand on one side and a dark techno brand on the other still leaves a gap in the middle. How does a single creator actually bridge that without looking like they're just playing two different characters?
Right.
That is where level 3 comes in. The playbook calls this the documentary or the trust builder. This is the personal brand layer named MickeySdt.
This is the equivalent of the Fast and Loud television show itself.
Yes, exactly.
MickeySdt is the behind-the-scenes human founder story. This tier features over 100 podcast episodes under the banner. Just content, why not? Along with like raw photo and video work that documents the very real, very gritty daily grind of building the other two brands.
Showing the actual work.
Yeah. It shows the creator late at night, failing to mix a heavy bass line at 2 a.m. It shows them the next morning, digging for open ports on Shodan, which, by the way, for those who don't know, is essentially a specialized search engine that hackers and security pros use to find exposed, vulnerable devices connected to the internet.
Like unsecured warehouse cameras or unpatched servers?
Right. And it shows the process of scripting a corporate LinkedIn video right after finishing a techno set.
By using level 3 to document the creation of both the art and the corporate content, it builds an immense, almost unbreakable level of trust. People ultimately follow the human being who built the factory.
Yeah, the human connection.
When a corporate executive sees the raw technical talent and the complex industrial systems thinking required to produce that caliber of techno music, it completely validates the high-ticket corporate services being offered by Cyber Night Mike. They see a mind that understands complex, high-pressure systems inside and out.
So look at your own projects right now, learner. If you have been grinding away at a specific skill coding, writing, video editing, whatever it is, ask yourself, are you just selling the raw skill by the hour, or are you building a world around it?
Such an important question.
Because once you have these three doors established under one cohesive roof, they begin to feed into one another in ways that generate entirely new products.
The playbook outlines some incredibly brilliant cross-pollination strategies for the future of this digital empire. When the aesthetic is locked together this tightly across audio, visual, and professional platforms, the products almost begin to invent themselves.
And the sources mention a future rollout that legitimately blew my mind.
Oh, the sound packs.
Yes, they are planning to create digital sound packs for the SchmidtStahl techno brand. But these aren't just normal synthesizer sounds. The sounds are generated and synthesized from real cyber attack firewall logs.
It is a masterclass in cross-platform world building.
It's insane.
The playbook notes a specific, staggering detail. The 150 BPM tempo of the SchmidtStahl music is not an arbitrary artistic choice.
Wait for it.
It is the exact BPM of a DDoS attack flooding a system's logs.
That is just wild.
For context, a DDoS, or distributed denial of service attack, is when a hacker uses thousands of compromised computers to flood a single server with traffic until it collapses.
Right.
It is a digital stampede clogging the doors. They took the rhythmic data of that stampede and turned it into a kick drum.
That is next-level integration. It is literally using the digital exhaust fumes from the corporate cybersecurity day job to fuel the engine of the passion project.
Beautifully said.
You are recycling malicious network attacks into underground art. And then you are turning right around and using the complexity of that art to prove your elite expertise in corporate cybersecurity consulting.
It creates a flawless, closed-loop feedback system. The plan outlined in Episode 5 takes this integration even further, too.
What else are they doing?
They are rolling out Cyber Night Mic digital templates, advanced cybersecurity courses, and specific photography presets that instantly apply that dark, hazard yellow, steel texture aesthetic to any image. The roadmap culminates in live, in-person events that physically combine industrial techno music sets with high-level cybersecurity keynote talks.
Imagine attending a live corporate event where you spend an hour learning how to protect an enterprise AI system from data poisoning. And the moment the lecture ends, the lights drop, the room goes dark, and a 150 BPM industrial kick drum just hits your chest.
It would be incredible.
That is not just a seminar. That is an unforgettable, multi-sensory brand experience that no traditional consulting firm could ever replicate.
This strategy proves that true innovation rarely happens by doing one traditional thing slightly better than your competitor. Massive innovation happens at the bizarre intersections of wildly different fields. By maintaining one strong visual and thematic universe across all these platforms, MickeySdt is executing the exact same psychological playbook that Richard Rawlings did. The brand is building a world so compelling, so unique, and so emotionally resonant that a corporate CISO protecting a billion-dollar network and a raver sweating in a club both genuinely want to belong to the exact same tribe.
Which brings us to the ultimate defining thesis of Episode 5 of the playbook. The garage is cool, but the empire is what pays for the next garage.
The physical garage in Dallas, or, the metaphorical garage of the techno music, the raw craft, the metal, the late-night grinding, is the anchor.
Yeah.
It gives the brand its soul, its dirt, and its authenticity. But you cannot trap yourself in that garage if you want to scale a business. You have to build the empire.
You have to scale.
The bar and grill, the branded merchandise, or in this digital case, the premium corporate cybersecurity consulting. The empire is the fortress that allows you to monetize your aesthetic at scale without having to manually turn every single wrench yourself.
Let's quickly recap this masterclass so you can apply it to your own work, learner. The Monkey Garage Playbook provides a crystal clear 3-step roadmap.
Step 1.
Step 1. Build your raw, authentic garage. Make it uncompromising. Make it real. Make it gritty and prove your baseline confidence.
Yep.
Step 2. Document that gritty process. Tell the story of the build to create human trust. Just like the Fast and Loud television show or the Just Content Why Not podcasts. Bring the audience behind the curtain.
Let them see the mess.
Exactly. And step 3, launch the fortress. Create the highly monetizable extension that uses that exact same aesthetic and emotional resonance, but package it for a premium, higher-paying audience that desires the lifestyle, but, won't do the gritty work themselves.
It is one overarching universe, access through 3 separate doors. You have the soul, you have the trust, and you have the moneymaker.
So we ask you again, what is your garage? Are you currently trapping yourself inside of it, working endless hours just to bend a little more steel? Or are you actively using the attitude and the aesthetic of that garage to build your empire?
Making that transition requires a massive, uncomfortable shift in perspective. You have to stop thinking of your different skills, whether it's music production, coding, writing, or consulting, as separate, disjointed jobs.
Right.
You have to start seeing them as different entrances to the exact same building.
Which leaves us with a deeply fascinating, somewhat provocative final thought to ponder as we wrap up today's deep dive. We have explored how the true, scalable financial value of a brand almost always lies in the lifestyle it represents.
The t-shirts, the consulting retainers.
The branded beer, the corporate contracts. But if that is the reality of business, what eventually happens to the original garage?
Oh, that's a great question.
Does a brand even need to keep producing its original gritty core product to survive once the lifestyle brand takes off? Or does the original craft eventually just become a museum exhibit? Like a beautiful, sterile piece of history that is maintained solely to validate the massive empire that completely outgrew it.
It is definitely something to think about the next time you put on a vintage band t-shirt for a group whose last 3 albums you haven't even bothered to listen to. The shirt outlived the music.
It happens way more often than we realize. Keep building your empire, keep opening new doors to your garage, and we will see you on the next deep dive.